You're watching NBC's coverage of IndyCar, brought to you by Hub International, proud official insurance brokerage provider. Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing, Hub International, helping you be ready for tomorrow. And by hy-vee. This racing season, help hy-vee reach their goal of 100 million meals by visiting hy-vee.com. Chairman Randy Edeka of hy-vee and his staff, his executive staff and team members, associates, boy, they have done a phenomenal job along with IndyCar to put on year number 2 of this hy-vee doubleheader here at Iowa Speedway. What a sight, high above, 60 laps to go as we welcome you back. Live coverage from the Heartland. And the man who knows how to win here better than anybody else, Joseph Newgarden in command. He's now led 70 laps and has a 2.5-second lead over his teammate and good friend Scott McLaughlin. Let's go through the field though. Let's start a little further back in 5th with Marcus Ericsson.
And that yellow really helped them out because they're struggling with tire dig. The tires are wearing too much once you get past the midpoint of the stint. So this has still one more stop, and he was told that. It's about a 240 lap stint. He said that could play in our hands. Maybe Ericsson moves forward a little bit from 5th. Behind him is Kyle Kirkwood, the best of the Andretti Autosport runners today. Remember, he's just in his 2nd year. Brian Hurd, his strategist, told me today, hey, remember, he's still learning. This is a challenging racetrack, so he's right where we think and hope he should be. I would say good day so far for Kyle Kirkwood. The championship leader, Alex Palou, doing what he needs to do in a track that he said he's not super comfortable in, but his confidence is growing. Palou is very much in the game and is still in position to have a plus 100 points advantage at the end of this race. His teammate Scott Dixon, the 6-time champ, remember, he comes in 2nd in points. So if he could move up and Palou has difficulties, he could tie A.J. Foyt with a 7th championship. It's looking difficult, but he still has a little bit of a chance and running somewhat near the front, Dave.
What a strong run for Alexander Rossi. Started 20th and has only finished best here 6th, 3 different occasions, but he's running like he is a former winner here. The last stop got them back on track, took the wave around and pitted on lap 163, so he is now with the leaders on the lead lap, Kevin.
Solid day for Takuma Sato so far. Remember, he only does the ovals at this point in his career, and there was some question a month ago whether he would even do these races. That got confirmed a few weeks ago. He'll do the race outside St. Louis at Worldwide Technology Raceway, and then it's TBD, but he did tell me, I want to continue racing. I just don't know how much it will be. I want to race as much as possible. Romain Grosjean, another former Formula One driver, having a pretty decent day in 11th. They tested here, but he said, I learned nothing. We had all kinds of mechanicals, so it was starting over when the weekend started. It's not been bad, and remember, Grosjean can learn for tomorrow.
Thanks for that, guys. There are 3 drivers who have made up 11 positions on the day. That's Kyle Kirkwood, Alexander Rossi, and Jack Harvey was one. Jack now has dove for pit lane. So just those 2 made up 11. Back to the front, Joseph Newgarden, 3.5 seconds now in the lead over Scott McLaughlin, who's dealing with that traffic. Next up on his list is Colton Herta.
All right, T-Bell.
Yes.
Did we maybe miss something here? Let's talk about an option
Impossible.
here. It's absolutely impossible. Let's talk about the times that the cars pit under that caution. The cars that were a lap down, they came and refueled closer to the green flag. So you see 35 laps ago was when Palou pit, 42 for the leaders. That puts them, when we went, about 163 was when Palou pit. I talked to one of the strategists beforehand. He said, hey, a get-home number here could be 170. That's where I would debate between trying to make 80 laps work or trying to push hard for 40 and split that into 2. If you're Alex Palou, if you're Scott Dixon, you know you don't have the outright pace to beat the Penske guys right now. Do you maybe say, all right, let's roll the dice here. Let's try to make it last, try to make it run. Maybe a late caution can help the cause. Are you thinking maybe trying to do it without stopping?
Yeah, I think you, like all short ovals, you run until you have to stop unless a caution comes, because you pit under green, you can lose so much, you don't want to be caught out. I think where it gets really interesting, like it always does here at Iowa, is if you get a late caution. Right now, there's only 9 cars diff on the lead lap. How many pit for fresh tires to give up track position? Based on what I'm seeing, I would say a lot.
Kevin Lee, what's going on with Scott McLaughlin? He's dropping further and further behind his teammate.
Well, let's all listen together and what they're talking about on the Thirsty 3 radio.
Kids just dropped in the middle like a idiot. Copy, just working. You're fine.
one of the most challenging parts of short track racing. You're not only racing the people for position, but there are so many lap cars that you're dealing with. By the way, I've not heard anybody talk about fuel saving at this point. Maybe someone's doing it, but I think everyone expects, let's run hard. We're going to have to stop again unless there's a lot of caution.
Kyle Moyer would be great with an airline customer service 800 number. You can call to yell at him, and they say, yep, sir, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear you're having a bad travel day.
I didn't hear who he was angry at, did you?
I'm not sure either.
No, he was frustrated with somebody saying driving like an idiot, but anyway, he's still second. That's what counts. Newgarden, McLaughlin, O'Ward still in third, Ferraro, McLaren, then Will Power, and then Marcus Ericsson in the top 5. Great drive today, Kyle Kirkwood in 6th. Hasn't really been his weekend, but he has made the most of it to be ahead of Palou and Scott Dixon. They're the 8 cars on the lead lap with 45 laps to go and one more stop here at Iowa Speedway on the opening day of a mega weekend here in the Heartland. Kirkwood dives for pit road. All right, 4 drivers at the front showing their hand, all dive for pit lane, and here comes the race leader. Joseph Newgarden is in, along with Scott McLaughlin.
Newgarden almost went into the wrong pit stall there, finally got to the right spot. He'll get 4 fresh Firestone tires and Shell fuel. McLaughlin is away, Kevin.
And so is Joseph Newgarden, so there is McLaughlin back out. Let's see how it all cycles out. Everyone was easily inside the window. They do not need to pit again. Those that just stopped.
This is a tricky time right now, guys. I mean, this is what we were just talking about. Were you going to split or were you going to try to go for it? We know what the leaders did, try to split that last stint pretty evenly, 42 laps to go. But what does Alexander Rossi do?
Newgarden had about 8 seconds on McLaughlin before they pitted, so as things cycle out, we'll have to see, can McLaughlin, was he able to do anything to make up that gap? A lot of it has to do with where you come out in traffic. As we look back at Spell Chevy, there's McLaughlin passing start finish. He gained about a second, 6.9 the gap now, first to second.
What's happened here on the right of your screen is Devlin DiFrancesco
and teammates Santino Ferrucci and Benjamin Peterson.
Oh boy, this is a mess. Ferrucci was patient there before he had to get through. Was there a collision? Just a mix-up? What happened between the 2 AJ Foyt Chevys and the Andretti Steinbrenner Honda?
And the 2 AJ Foyt cars are pitted next to each other in pit lane. We're getting Benjamin Peterson fired up. Look at Will Power. Marcus Ericsson side by side in turn 3, battling for 4th position right now. Ericsson in the red and white Husky Ice Pits car.
Ericsson had unfinished business of a year ago here. He was desperate. He was salivating to take the fight to Team Penske this year based on what he did last year. And he said, I didn't quite have the car last year to really take the fight to him. Now, Ericsson finds himself as high as he's been in this race in 4.
It's really brilliant when you think about the fact that Ericsson is ahead of Scott Dixon and Alex Palou convincingly today. I know he's won an Indy 500, but this might be his best ever oval drive, pure in terms of what he's done in the seat today, making the adjustments and the balance of his race car. Very consistent, staying on top of those changes as we take a look on pit lane to what happened. Benjamin Peterson pulling out, Devlin DiFrancesco coming in. We haven't seen the full story, but that could be an unsafe release for the 55.
Yeah, we saw it in Texas. An unsafe drive.
And there comes the penalty. A drive-through for Benjamin Peterson, which is a huge penalty on a short oval under green.
36 laps left in this race. Marcus Ericsson still surging forward, but somebody, anybody's going to bring something special if they're going to get by this Hitachi Chevy. Joseph Newgarden in control by 3.3 seconds.
I'm going to go back to your Marcus Ericsson comment. No, an Indy 500 win is going to be his best drive. And his second Indy 500
but
also
on that day,
but short oval performance, absolutely.
Hang on that day, it was Scott Dixon dominating, and it was a pit speed penalty that took Dixon out. Today, Marcus Ericsson, with 35 laps left, has outdriven Scott Dixon. I will hold that argument and stake that poll.
Okay. All right. You can hold it. I'm gonna hold the Borg Warner trophy over your head. but fair enough.
And I'll be swatting it like a game of pinata.
All right, time to take a look at our pit stop differential powered by NTT. Have a look at Joseph Newgarden and Scott McLaughlin. Difference.
Yeah, you called it right there. About a 1.5 second gain there, and a lot of that was just on pit lane. A little bit of an advantage to Joseph on the in-lap, a little bit to Scott on the out-lap, but the Thirsty Threes and Scott get it done on pit lane. That's the total time from pit lane speed on to pit lane speed off. So that's driver hitting his marks in the box. That's team performing the stop effectively. And he's closed the gap now to under 4 seconds.
McLaughlin has not had a podium other than his win at Barber. He's headed for one here shortly. Win and you're in. It's the Breeders' Cup Challenge Series where the world's top thoroughbreds compete for a starting spot at the 2023 Breeders' Cup World Championships. That's next, right here on NBC and on Peacock. Win, and well, you're in a special spot here in Iowa. That could be the case for Joseph Newgarden, just 24 laps from home, 24 laps away from his 5th win at the world's fastest short track. He did not start on the pole position. He did not start on the front row, but boy, has he been the architect of a very clever race.
There are few guarantees in sports, Hinch, but Newgarden at Iowa is about as sure thing as you can get, certainly in motorsports. I'm just so blown away at how quickly he made the adjustments in his race car to go from 3rd place at the opening phase of this race to a dominant 1st place. And Dave Burns, during the break, you said on the radio, Joseph saying what on the radio?
Guys, I'm just chilling. Let me know if I'm chilling too much, which is to say, let's manage the gap. It's 3 seconds to McLaughlin. It shrank down to almost a second, and then it got back up to 3. So Newgarden has it in hand now, just trying to keep his teammate at bay. I asked Joseph yesterday about these short ovals. Did you just take to them? And he said, yes, I did. Early in my career, for some reason, I just like them. And from there, he's been honing his craft. He says these days, it takes that plus the right car. And boy, have they had the right car. They've had it again today. Joseph Newgarden working his way through traffic, looking for another win.
And who he's up against, Hinch.
Yeah, the traffic is the championship leader, Alex Palou. This is the guy he has to beat. If anyone's got a good shot at tracking down that massive margin, it's Joseph Newgarden. 2 wins this weekend would be huge. As they run right now, he would gain 17 points on Alex Palou, and he's still got the opportunity to get the 2 extra points for most laps led. Power still has that, but in 9 laps, that's going to tick over in Newgarden's favor and start whittling down that massive championship lead.
There are no more weekends in IndyCar racing where there are double points. Used to be at the Indianapolis 500, used to be at the season finale. T-Bell, you're a big moto fan. You watch the Super Motocross World Championships, Supercross portion of the season done, deep into the Pro Motocross portion of the season, where we're watching factory Honda driver Jet Lawrence consistently go 1-1 on the weekend. So who's going to be the 1-1 on the weekend here? Who's going to win the weekend? Newgarden's in the prime position.
Oh yeah, Newgarden a pretty safe bet, as you see Will Power and Scott Dixon disputing 5th place as Power comes up behind Jack Harvey, who continues to soldier his way on. The number 30 car, 2 laps down, but in 16th.
Dixon's coming on strong, guys. He had a good run there on the number 12, but just got the air taken off the front of his cars. Now Kyle Kirkwood's looking on the outside of the PNC Bank. Look at how close that came, and that's
right in front of Joseph Newgarden, who's saying, dude, everybody chill.
Well, remember that Dixon was a lap down not that long ago, so this is cycled favorably. The yellow helped him. Newgarden looks on the inside of Kirkwood and then eases back out of it.
Got that.
And that's allowed Scotty McLaughlin to get within 1.9 seconds. Is it going to be game on at the front between the teammates?
Time to stop chilling. Joseph Newgarden got to work through this traffic. You've got pretty quick cars now. That's the thing. The further up the grid you manage to put a lap down, the faster and more competitive those drivers are. Putting Kyle Kirkwood down is not down a lap is not the same as putting Peterson down a lap right now, just based on their pace. So he's got to be smart. And this man here in the white and yellow XFL car for Penske, Scott McLaughlin, he's got to be heads up as well to try and catch. Try and catch Newgarden.
And Diff McLaughlin, I'm sure, has not forgotten Texas. And roles were reversed. And in the closing laps, it was McLaughlin leading and finding traffic at the worst possible time on the last lap when Newgarden up on the wheel, made the pass, final lap, final corner. Boy, would the bus bro McLaughlin love to repay the favor today.
Oh, that was heartbreaking for him. Joseph Newgarden said, I'd never won a race like that where I've come off the last corner on the last lap, won it right on the line against this guy, Scotty Mack. 12 laps to go here in Iowa. Newgarden has just under 5 seconds over McLaughlin. Kevin?
Dave talked earlier about Newgarden opening up the playbook to try to help his teammate, his fellow bus bro from their YouTube show. And McLaughlin expanded on that, and he said, we had a flight together. We watched the entire race last year that he won, watched Joseph's onboard, watched my onboard, watched every lap to see what we could do, where he was getting air, everything else. And that, he said, now I admit that Joseph probably didn't tell me everything he knows, but it certainly helped. We'll see if he can put it to use to get past his bus bro before the end here today.
What a day for Team Penske holistically. Will Power winning the pole position for today and tomorrow. Power led 119 laps. By the way, that's exactly how many Newgarden's led. That's about to tick over into Newgarden's favor. And then just domination of this hy-vee Homefront 250, the first of 2 races this weekend. Now make it lap 120 led for Joseph Newgarden, the most in this race, with 9 to go until home.
That gap to McLaughlin about half a second tighter as Newgarden stacked up a bit behind 7th place Kyle Kirkwood and Scott Dixon. So Newgarden now making some critical decisions. Do I just ride? Oh no, you don't, especially when Kirkwood gets loose like that down in turn 1.
It's just about being heads up. Again, he's looking 3 cars in front. That's Scott Dixon immediately in front of him, but he's already reading the traffic in front of Scott Dixon to know where Scott's going to place his car. So that he can make his decisions on where to put the 2. And this, again, is just where he is so good. Look at that slow car up top. Everyone's got to check up a little bit.
Gap down to 2.4.
Santino Ferrucci, that is, that he's just stucked up the inside.
Gap down to 1.7.
Here we go.
Gap down to 1.3, 1.1.
6 laps to
go.
Kirkwood comes back on Newgarden. This is going to slow him up and allow McLaughlin to get even closer. There's the yellow car. That's the XFL Chevy. Has the teammate got a chance on Newgarden?
You bet he does.
Five laps from here.
How hard is Scott Dixon going to make it on Joseph Newgarden?
He's battling Joseph in the points right now. He's probably not him at all. That's Connor Daly way up high in front of the leader. There's Newgarden going by, staying green.
Now Dixon, the next one to try and negotiate. 4 laps to go from here.
Outside.
And McLaughlin in his own traffic as Newgarden deals with plenty.
Newgarden just putting an exclamation point on it. He has lapped Dixon, who is in 5th place as we are coming to 3 laps to go. He's lapped inside the top 5.
He's about to lap his teammate, the pole winner, Will Power, who led 119 laps in this race. That's
so does
crazy.
Will Power help his teammate? Or does Will Power say, I can't get lapped by the guy that I started in front of in this race? How's this going to play out?
I mean, 3 to go. It's a healthy enough gap. I think he's more worried about Brian Hunter-Ray there in the blue and gold car. Just get around him, pedal this thing for the next 2. You don't need to pass, Will. You just need to keep Scott behind you.
1.8 seconds, 1.9 seconds.
Looking pretty good now for Newgarden.
He said he was just chilling before. He's going to manage this. And when he comes out of turn 4 this time, he'll see the white flag in front of a big crowd. 7/8 of a mile to go until Joseph Newgarden gets win number 5 here at Iowa Speedway. He was filthy after qualifying. He was so frustrated. He was angry. And that anger is going to dissipate now. He is the king of corn country. Iowa Speedway sees Joseph Newgarden win again. That's win number 5. And he is dominating the oval competition this 2023 season.
Where's the bar of us? Great job today. Hey, you like that? Like that!
129 laps led and another victory to the man from Nashville, Tennessee. Knoxville, Tennessee's Kenny Chesney is coming up to play for the crowd. It's a day to celebrate for those from Tennessee.
Where's he going now?
Chance Auto Parts checkered flag moment. Maybe Joseph's going to climb out and ask for that checkered flag.
Well, Indianapolis, he went right past the flag, into the fans, into the stands.
He might be waiting for all the cars to go by to be in a safe zone.
Maybe they just roll out a karaoke machine and let him do a concert.
Well, the stage goes right there on the grass, right on in front of pit road. I guess this is going to be victory lane right here. Joseph says, is it okay to get out? I'm getting out. I own this place, basically. So I'll celebrate where I like to.
Teammate Scott McLaughlin pulling up alongside him here. And Pato Award making his way around as well. Your top three finishers. Again, 5th win here at Iowa. Could easily have been 6th if not for a mechanical failure last year late in race 2. This is the house that Joseph built.
Team Penske 1-2. Team Penske 3 of the top 5. They came prepared. They were fast in qualifying and really untouched today as the Hitachi crew comes out to celebrate with their driver. It's a muted response because they're so used to it.
Well, he just has this, he has this aura of, I've got this place under control. Not egotistically, just confidently. He knows the key to the magic and the success here. And he must be saying now, boy, why is Polo so far out in front?
98
but
points.
he's trimmed it, he's trimmed the lead.
It's inside 100.
Yeah, I mean, it was 10 laps was the difference in laps led between Power and Newgarden, and that extra 2 points, you never know what that can mean.